Join us on Path of Faith, where we seek to inspire and empower you on your spiritual journey, offering guidance and support as you navigate life's challenges with faith and courage. A good portion of our disappointments stem from the understanding that people should act towards us exactly as we act towards them. We need to lose that pretension. People are governed by other commands, different from ours. The secret is to continue offering the best of ourselves to others, even if it's not always reciprocal. I know this is a commonplace. You've probably thought about it a lot. But every now and then, it's good to shed light on what is often obscure to us, despite knowing it's there. Because sometimes knowing isn't enough. Sometimes we need to continually renew this within ourselves. Why do we keep getting frustrated with people? Because they didn't meet our expectations. Because deep down, even though we know others are not obligated to be as we want them to be, we nurture this illusion. We carry this pretension. People are who they are. Sometimes they'll align perfectly with us. Sometimes they'll err, just as we also succeed and fail with others. What we can do is minimize these expectations within ourselves. Are you getting to know someone? Do everything you can to not idealize that person. Make every effort. Make the effort not to place on them expectations that have much more to do with you than with them. Have the simplicity and honesty to look at yourself, to look at others through the lens of reality. People are good. People are bad. People succeed. People fail. Just like you and I are also good, bad, successful, and flawed. We need simplicity in the way we look at things, to minimize as much as possible the expectations we have so that our encounters are fruitful, more real. Because others definitely aren't obligated to be as we would like. I struggle a lot with rejection. I have an immense need to please people, even those who despise me. What's the reason for that? It's funny because sometimes when we identify this within ourselves, you feel like you're trying too hard to please, when in reality, it's an insecurity that sometimes pushes the other further away. It's like when you're trying to be too nice, when you want to be too present in someone's life. It's sometimes the exaggeration of being. The best way to control this is first to realize that there's a measure to how much you should be in someone else's life. So you first seek the satisfaction of being who you are. Pleasing others is a consequence. And you being in someone else's life within a measure that is neither too little nor too much. I don't know if you're familiar with that text by Mario Quintana, the Quindim at the Gate. They say he loved Quindim, and he had a lady who was passionate about his work, but she never wanted to meet him. She was his neighbor, but she preserved Mario Quintana's privacy a lot. She saw him from afar, knew he was the great poet she read. So what did she do? She found out about his taste for Quindim, and she started leaving Quindims at the gate. And on the first one, she left. She wrote, "I leave Quindims, but not to burden you with my presence. I don't want to burden you with my presence." And I find that interesting when someone discovers there's a personal satisfaction in liking someone, but at the same time, they don't want to burden them with their presence. They don't want to be excessive in someone else's life. And sometimes, out of insecurity, I still don't have the confidence in who I am. I go to the meeting, I go to the encounter carrying too much, and all of this ends up being a reason to push away instead of bringing closer. It's the gift of lightness. You notice how affectionate a person is because they are light, they don't demand things, they understand you just the way you are. It's so cool that there are people who have this thing of throwing happiness onto you, in a sense. If you don't do what they imagine you should do, it seems like the problem is yours. And it's not. I mean, each one, it's not my fault, right? You want to attribute a failure, a success to another person, right? Exactly. And it's not fair, right? It's not fair. And especially when you realize you projected too much of what you expected from the other person. That's also extremely disastrous. I really like something that, it's very Aristotelian, but it's the concept of the uselessness of friendship. Friendship is beautiful because it's useless. Not in the ugly sense of the word useless, but in the sense that they are complete people with all their imperfections, and they choose to be part of each other's lives. One helps the other, not out of utility. When I'm friends with someone out of utility, I'm not really friends with them. I'm their friend because you can help me with this and that. I'm your friend because you have a college degree and I want to get a job. I'm your friend because you own a company and can do something for me. I'm your friend because you have a boat and I like sailing, so I'm not your friend. I'm your friend because I'm your friend. The things you provide me with, right? Many times, right? The person is interested in what the other person provides. Sometimes, because you have a certain recognition, people want to be on your side, right? And then it's sad because in moments, sometimes but you end up alone, isolated. Today I saw something that I'm going to say here. I have deep admiration for Father Julio Lancelotti. You do too, right? And Father Julio, so I learned to admire more and more for seeing him take care of homeless people. And so then I see that the homeless people know him by name, ask for his blessing. So it's a sign that he stays there, that he stays with them, that he takes care. It's not marketing, right? So Father Julio said, look, Zelida, I learned to love Father Fabio because in the most difficult moments of my life, when people judged me in a hasty way, when people didn't understand me, I watched his show. And I looked and I felt that God spoke to my heart through him, through his priestly life, and I became more priestly, more like a priest, right? That's so beautiful, right? And the affectionate way that the Lord treated, I'll throw confetti at you. But one of the things I find most beautiful about your way of speaking about the Word of God is when you talk about that sinful woman who knew she was going to die, who was condemned, and that Jesus, in that magnificent way, looked deep into her eyes, didn't challenge the law, didn't say anything, just gave a detail of love. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone. That's beautiful. From all of us at Path of Faith, thank you for being part of today's discussion. We value your input, so please share your thoughts in the comments, show your support with a like, spread the message by sharing, and subscribe to stay connected with us on our journey of faith.